This is the start of side 2. We now return to local news with Joan, who will start with sports items.
Confidence is growing among the Enfield Town squad that they do have what it takes to avoid relegation from the Ryman Premier Division this season. Town have enjoyed a dramatic revival in fortunes in recent weeks, but were denied the chance to build on the momentum they have created when their scheduled match at Lowestoft Town fell victim to a waterlogged pitch. Having been well adrift of safety a few weeks ago, Town have suddenly found the kind of consistency that had been missing all season. With last Tuesday's 1-0 victory at home to Bury Town, meaning that they have only been beaten in one of their past 6 matches, picking up 11 points in the process. This good run has seen them climb above East Thurrock United into 21st place on the table, and they are now only 2 points adrift of Thamesmead Town and safety with 5 games in hand. Grays Athletic, who have only played 23 games and are facing a mounting fixture pile-up, and Wingate and Finchley are also within 7 points of Town, and there is a growing confidence in the squad that they do have what it takes to beat the drop. So there.
Alison Waters claimed the British national squash title after defeating Irish challenger Madeleine Perry in the final of the competition. The 29-year-old from Enfield, who is ranked 4th in the world, was competing in her 8th national championships final after overcoming Yorkshire's Jenny Duncalf in the last 4. She clinched the first game 11-3, and Perry struggled to recover as Waters stamped her authority on the match. She went on to secure an 11-6 victory on the second game and maintained her dominance to win the title with another 11-6 win. Waters, who started playing squash at the age of 5 at Southgate Squash Club, said, "I'm so pleased. I've had plenty of tough battles against Madders in the past, so I was ready from the start. I just played my game and was confident going into it. I'm so excited to have won a 4th title. Big respect to Madeleine. I know how long she's wanted to get a national final. She's 37 years old, and if I'm still playing as well as she is at 37, then I'll be delighted."
And now for rugby union. Enfield Ignatians were left without a match for the second successive Saturday as their trip to basement side Lowestoft in Yarmouth was postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. Ignatians are hoping to return to action with a rearranged game at home to Stowmarket on Saturday, desperate to get a game in before their big day out at Alliance Park, the home of Saracens, on March 1st. Skills coach Steve Atkinson said, "We have been able to train twice on the AstroTurf at Southgate Hockey Club, and we have also used the Enfield Grammar School Sports Hall, for which we are very grateful."
And I have sports shorts. It's hockey. Southgate extended their winning streak in the men's conference east of the English Hockey League to 7 matches with a comfortable 4-1 victory at Richmond on Sunday. Nils Lloyd Penny fired Southgate into a 13-minute lead, and David Wilson added a second shortly before the interval. Jack Hardy pulled a goal back early in the second half, but the visitors were not to be denied, and 2 goals in as many minutes from Tommy Smith and Matt Coombs sealed their triumph. Southgate entertained struggling St Albans on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Meanwhile, Joe Kitching and Alexandra Fenwick were on target for Southgate ladies in their 2-2 draw at Staines in the Division 1 south of the Women's League.
Now I've come to some what's on. The first one is called Swinging at the Cotton Club on Saturday, the 1st of March at 7:30 p.m. And that will be at the Millfield Theatre, Silver Street, Edmonton, N18 1PJ. Box office number 0208 to 807 to 6680, www.millfieldtheatre.co.uk. And we're told that tickets are £1 cheaper if you order online. The second event is called Micah Paris, who is an attractive lady. There's a picture of her here. And it says that you must see her because she's pure dynamite. And she's going to be at the Millfield Theatre on Friday, 14th of March at 8 p.m. I'll give you the box office number again. Box office 0208 to 807 to 6680. And again, tickets are £1 cheaper if you order online.
I also have what's on at the Millfield, and there is a show, Big Girls Don't Cry, and that's on Friday, 28th of February at 8 p.m. And then on Saturday, the 8th of March, again at 8 p.m., is Andy Abraham, local boy, isn't he? Classic Soul, the show is called. And both those, I beg your pardon, both those are at the Millfield in Silver Street, Edmonton, N18 1PJ, and Joan gave you all the other information, box office number, etc., etc.
And there's quite a lot on at the Millfield Theatre, because I've got some more as well. Derek Akora, the TV psychic medium who you may have heard of, is on at the Millfield Thursday, the 27th of February at 8 p.m. And then a second event at the Millfield is on Friday the 7th of March at 8 p.m. and it's the Irish House Party. I'd imagine that's probably in connection with St Patrick's Day, which is in March as well. Again, that's Millfield Theatre, Silver Street, Edmonton.
And I've got quite a few actually for Chicken Shed. First is Comedy Night with UK's top acts including Daniel Simonson and MC Matt Ewins on the 27th of February at 8 p.m. Tickets are £12 to £10. I think that should have been the other way round. Sorry. An awfully big performance, a montage of outstanding work celebrating Chicken Shed's 40th anniversary. The 7th of March to the 23rd of March. Tickets £5 to £15. Special offer, half-price tickets for everyone, 14 to 25 years. Tales from the Shed at Dugdale Centre, Enfield Town. Exciting shows for children aged 0 to 7 years, Friday the 7th of March and Saturday the 8th of March, 10 a.m., 11:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. performances. All tickets £6. And the box office is 0208 292 9222 or www.chickenshed.org.uk. And I've got something else for Chicken Shed, as I said. The venue is Chicken Shed Theatre, unless stated otherwise, and the address is 290 Chayside, Southgate, London, N14 4PE. Box office 0208 292 9222. Email bookings at chickenshed.org.uk. Website www.chickenshed.org.uk. Now, Chicken Shed Spring Show, an awfully big performance, Friday the 7th of March to Sunday the 23rd of March. Evening performances at 7 p.m. Matinee performances 2 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Running time 2 hours, including interval. Ages 7+. Price £5 to £15. Access performances, audio described performance, Saturday the 15th of March, 3 p.m. Sign interpreted performance, Thursday the 20th of March, 7 p.m. Caption performance, Saturday the 22nd of March, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Chicken Shed has lovingly selected an array of amazing moments from some of the most pivotal shows from a long history of outstanding theatre that will brilliantly showcase their unique performance style. Expected uplifting dance, beautiful music and songs, as well as inspiring dialogue. This selection of pieces will combine to celebrate the individual, the diversity of the cast, and of course the people who complete the experience. You, the audience. An awfully big performance is an extra special chance to relive the memories that define Chicken Shed as a creative force, whilst at the same time establishing a launch pad for our next 40 years.
Now I have a letter written by Ivy Beard, Littlebrook Gardens, Cheshunt. And she writes, "We have not received the official January information regarding our medical records through our letterboxes. The letter is supposed to inform us how we can put..." I'm going to alter some of that because a bit of it doesn't quite make sense. The letter is supposed to inform us on how we can opt out of having our personal information forwarded from our GP surgery on a continual basis to the Health and Social Care Information Centre, the HSCIC. The information is due to be transferred in March from our surgeries unless we have formally in writing requested our GP not to do so. Once the information has been extracted from our records, we will no longer be able to opt out. You can find the forms by going to http://medconfidential.org/how to opt out. This allows you to exempt your children also.
And I have a letter from a George Musey of Mitchell Road, Palmer's Green. I find the decision by Enfield Borough Council and Bowes Ward councillors not to inform all residents of their proposals for Grenoble Gardens outrageous. It explains why I am still waiting acknowledgement of my letter of objection dated December 27th, 2013. Closing Pasteur Gardens and Chequers Way to through traffic will not improve quality of life for residents. It will have the opposite effect by segregating communities. Closing Chequers Way will isolate Mitchell Road and remove a W4 bus service that took 10 years to obtain. These are extreme measures to solve an unrelated traffic problem in Grenoble Gardens, not caused by traffic from the A406, but by the imposition of a one-way traffic system which funnels traffic from Princes Avenue, Tottenhall Road and Upsdale Avenue into Grenoble Gardens to gain access to green lanes. The local school run also increases the traffic. Apart from residents, emergency vehicles, service and delivery vehicles using Chequers Way for access from the A406, I do not believe remaining vehicles target Grenoble Gardens. Instead, they proceed along Wolves Lane to Wood Green and beyond, avoiding a congested green lanes, which for many years was achieved via Melville Gardens, a much shorter route before diversion to Chequers Way. Its closure will disrupt the lives of many more residents than drivers seeking to avoid congested traffic on the A406.
And now a letter from David Burrows, the Enfield Southgate Member of Parliament. Councillor Derek Levy asks about my views on betting shops in the letters in the Advertiser February 5th. A visit to my website, www.davidburrows.com, shows that I have been campaigning against the proliferation of betting shops for a number of years, and particularly in recent months in Parliament. The fact that there are now 12 betting shops in the Palmer's Green section of Green Lanes, and more than half from one company often occupying more than one shop frontage, is unacceptable. Councillor Levy may like to engage in political point scoring, but we can all agree that the Labour government's legislation, which abolished the demand test and opened the door to casino-type gaming machines, needs changing. The answer is not in the votes of Commons opposition motions, which are vehicles for political posturing, but in supporting serious attempts to change the law. I voted to support that process, which involves concluding a review into the impact of gaming machines. The Minister for Local Government, Nick Bowles, has promised me that no stone will remain unturned. For example, I see merit in Councillor Levy's licensing committee having a cumulative impact test for new betting shop licences. In the meantime, we need to make use of current laws, and so I've been repeatedly calling on Enfield Council to apply for an Article 4 direction, which the government has made easier to obtain, to ensure that new betting shop applications are subject to the full planning process and control. Ministers have confirmed to me that an application from the Council would be welcomed. Unfortunately, it seems more interested in a blame game. It has 3 months to get on with it, before potentially a Conservative-led council makes it a priority to gain the necessary powers to control these betting shops.
And I have a letter from Rick Jewell of Hoe Lane, Enfield, and he says, towards the end of last year, we saw the introduction of the local policing model. Communities like mine were concerned as to what it would mean on the streets of our own neighbourhood. Would this mean a reduction in the police numbers on our streets? No, we were assured by our Safer Neighbourhood team. In fact, we would see a significant increase in community policing, as there would be extra officers aligned to our ward. The reality is that it has not been an improvement in my area. I haven't seen the SNT once in the past 4 months. Considering SNTs were brought in to support local people working with local police and partners to identify and tackle issues of concern in their neighbourhood, I have seen a rapid decline of service since the LPM was introduced. I used to see the SNT on the street several times a week, either walking or on their bikes. I would often stop and chat to them and knew them by name. If I contacted them, I would get a response. I raised this with my Cape panel meeting and was informed that they now spent a considerable amount of their time in a car catching people in the act or dealing with motoring offences. While these are important, so is the increasing number of burglaries that have put parts of our borough in the top 10 places in the UK for burglary. I know they are arresting people, and I have seen the figures, but I don't see how relationships are being built with the community or the gathering of local intelligence will be achieved if our SNT are in a car and not on the streets.
Now we're coming back to normal reading of information. In a bid to ram home the message that accident and emergency units should only be used as a last resort, NHS bosses have launched a smartphone app which tells sick people where they can go. Designed specifically as a reminder that casualty departments should be reserved for life-threatening injuries, Health chiefs hope this latest marketing ploy will ease pressure on emergency units at North Middlesex University Hospital in Stirling Way, Edmonton, Barnet Hospital in Wellhouse Lane, High Barnet. Both have repeatedly missed waiting time targets since the closure of the A&E unit at Chase Farm Hospital in the Ridgeway, Enfield, in December last year. The Choose Well app, which is free to download for iPhones and Androids and is available in Somali, Polish and Turkish as well as English, will give people a full rundown of where GPs, chemists and urgent care centres are located. The app also includes a game which NHS managers suggest can be used to pass the time while patients wait to see their GP or wait their turn at a walk-in centre. Dr. Alpesh Patel, Enfield Clinical Commissioning Group Chairman and a GP, said, "With increasing pressures on accident and emergency departments, particularly during the winter months, the Choose Well app can help patients decide which NHS services best suit their need and thereby reduce pressures at these departments, allowing staff there to focus on the most serious cases." The app has been rolled out after being tested successfully on patients sitting in A&E just before Christmas. If you do not have a smartphone, NHS chiefs suggest accessing the Choose Well materials online at www.enfieldccg.nhs.uk.
Plans to create a new company that will buy and let council housing stock have passed the first hurdle. Enfield Borough Council's cabinet members met last Wednesday and agreed the plans to form the company, which will buy up housing stock and rent out properties below current market rates to reduce budget pressures on temporary accommodation. It will also be exempt from the right to buy scheme, which has seen nearly half of council houses in the borough being bought and rented out privately. Cabinet member for Housing, Councillor Ahmet Oykner, said, "This innovative scheme was agreed overwhelmingly at the meeting and I am delighted that we can now put this into motion. We have made it past the first hurdle, but the company will still need full council approval and I hope that the opposition do not turn this into party political subject. This is going to allow us to own more housing stock and can be offered to families who are in desperate need of housing. We expect the demand to increase in the coming years, and this will only help people move up the housing ladder. The plans will now go to full council to be approved."
The students at Enfield School have been learning about organ donors as part of a national campaign. Register and Be a Lifesaver, R&BE, spoke to 16 to 18-year-olds at Chase Community School in Churchbury Lane about their campaign to increase blood, organ and bone marrow donations. The campaign has been organised by cancer charity Anthony Nolan, which was the first in the world to set up a bone marrow register. The students also received a talk from local volunteer Ayana Vidal, a member of the charity's education programme. R&BE leader Katie Day said, "It's fantastic to see students from Enfield so engaged with the cause. We know that young people are the most likely to be chosen as donors, so it's very important that they know how they can potentially save a life. We know that more local schools will sign up to our education programme and help us educate their students about becoming lifesavers." Enfield North MP Nick Dubois, who also attended the event, said, "I am so pleased that Chase Community School invited R&BE to host their presentation. On this day, young people learned from other young people about bone marrow, blood and organ donation, and showed them that they have the potential to help save a life. Chase School has pioneered this in Enfield, and I hope that other schools will follow."
I have Michael Lavender's column. He is the Enfield Conservative Group Leader. Most houses for sale in Enfield are bought for buy-to-let purposes. Some of the premises are unauthorised homes in multiple occupation. Some are unlawfully extended back garden sheds, often with migrant workers living in cramped conditions, where utility supplies may be unsafe, deposits not returned, rents not paid on by managing agents, and income not declared to the tax authorities. It takes only one of these premises to ruin an area, with the consequence that affected neighbours move on and more premises are sold to repeat and accelerate the decline. When this happened in the 1960s and 1970s, the then Labour government passed the Rent Act, a draconian piece of legislation designed to punish private landlords. It effectively terminated the private rented sector, with the unintended victims, namely the tenants, requiring recourse to the Homeless Persons Act 1977 to get accommodation. The solution suggested by Enfield Conservatives and adopted by the Labour administration is to introduce a landlord's registration scheme. Its purpose is to protect the interests of tenants and neighbours by requiring landlords to identify themselves by registration, making it a criminal offence to let premises while unregistered. This only works if registration fees are reasonable. If they are not, they will be passed by landlords on to tenants, and it will be the tenants who pay. The Conservatives are not convinced Labour's proposed £575 charge is reasonable. We fear this is a money-grabbing exercise that will penalise legitimate landlords and harm the interests of tenants.
The future of a bar is in doubt after police issued a closure order earlier this month following a brawl. The Maze Inn in Chaseside, Southgate, was closed on February the 11th following a fight in the early hours of Sunday, February the 9th. According to police documents that have been made public, 2 men were assaulted in the club by 6 or 7 men. 1 man suffered a cut head and a swollen eye during the melee. Both men were taken to North Middlesex Hospital in Stirling Way, Edmonton. An Enfield Borough Council licensing subcommittee will make a decision today about the future of the bar with possible outcomes, including removing the current supervisor or suspending or potentially even revoking the bar's license. A school has received the Values Education Quality Mark. Eversley Primary School in Chaseville Park Road was given by the International Values Education Trust. Head teacher Patricia Wood said, "Teaching our children values for life to make them good citizens and the best they can be is just as important as the more traditional curriculum subjects."
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of
Joan,
Beverley, Rod,
and myself, Lillian, with Cassandra and Colin on controls, it's goodbye.
bye.
Cheerio. Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet. Put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. The Enfield Talking newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.